If you can guess what's going on in this picture, I'll give you $20. You think it's a man training birds to think that a plane is their mother? Gotta be kidding me. Look, just take it. I don't want to talk about it. What's happening in this picture is actually like really insane. So this thing's called a whooping crane, and they're like super endangered. A part of that's their fault because they mate for life and migrate thousands of miles to normally hatch just one chick per year. So even way back in the mid-1800s, there was only a couple thousand individuals in a few different migratory groups. Around the end of the 1800s, the American Empire decided to turn all of this into this. By the 1940s, there were only between 15 and 20 whooping cranes left on the entire planet. Some hunting areas even posted flyers like this one saying, hey guys, there's only 21 of these things left. Maybe we take a breather for a minute. In the 60s, every last migratory group had been fully exterminated except for one. A single flock that migrated between this one barrier island in Texas and this one marsh in Canada. And here is where it gets weird. Captive breeding programs were super successful. By the 80s, this flock had more than 100 individuals. This success, conservationists set their sight on a new goal that almost seems impossible: re-establishing some of the extinct migratory routes. Since these routes are maintained by the young learning from the rest of the flock, when the flock disappears, so does the route. Re-establishing it is pretty much impossible. Pretty much. That's a load-bearing pretty much, guys. Some guy was like, I have an idea. What if we made a bunch of cranes pack bond with an ultralight aircraft and use that to establish a route? If no one had any better ideas, they decided to go for it. As you can imagine, getting a bird to pack bond with a plane is rather challenging. The researchers would play them the sound of this plane while they were still in the egg. When they hatched, researchers would interact with them with this crazy crane costume so that they wouldn't bond with humans, they'd instead bond with whatever the hell that is. And as the chicks started to grow, researchers would taxi this plane around a field, leading them to food. After 3 months, when the chicks were ready to fly, it was go time. And it worked! A handful of cranes followed this aircraft flying at 35 miles an hour, a total distance of 1,200 miles, a new route that followed protected wetlands between Florida and the Great Lakes. After just one trip, the cranes had memorized the route and no longer needed the aircraft. They continued teaching the route to new chicks added to the flock, successfully establishing a second migratory group that will forever follow the path laid out by this plane. Stuff like this brightens up your doom scroll.